For number 19, it says if triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle, angle, side, what additional piece of information is needed to be marked? Or what additional information needs to be marked? So they give us a side and an angle already. So if we've got a side and an angle, beside that angle we have on the other side of the side, we need another angle. So if we've got a side and an angle, the next piece we need is another angle. If I tried to put the angle over here, it would be angle, side, angle. But we're looking for angle, angle, side. So we need to make sure that we match that up. And that'll be the same over here. Again, angle, angle, side. We've got an angle and a side, an angle and a side. If I were to put an angle up here, that would be angle, side, angle. But if I've got my angle here and my angle here, I've got angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So I need to know that angle C is congruent to angle F. For number 20, let me pull this down a bit. It says, given the following triangles, determine how they are congruent and complete the triangle congruent statement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label everything that's given to me. I've got an angle here. I've got a side. I've got a side, an angle, a side. So now that I'm looking at it, I've got side, angle, side. Those all go together in a flow. Side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. So if I have LEM, triangle LEM will be congruent to triangle. If I started at L, that had one arc. On this triangle over here, one arc took place at M. Then I went from L to E, which went across one tick mark, that tick mark of the side. So if I start at M, across one tick mark of the side is O, and the last will be N. For B, it says triangle PUT. So it started at P, went across one tick mark, and then across three. Across one tick mark, and then across three. Goes DOG. So triangle DOG. And I've got a side, I've got another side. I don't have any angles marked. So this has to be side, side, side congruence. Then, down here, for triangle, this should say triangle TIE. Because triangle TIM is technically not congruent to another triangle. But TIE will be congruent. If I started at T, it looks like there's not enough information when you look at it. But we need to know that IE is the same for the triangle on the left as it is for the triangle on the right, which makes it congruent to itself. So I now know that these triangles are congruent because I've got a right angle, a hypotenuse, which is the angle or the side that's across from the right angle. This will also be a right angle because if this is 90 degrees, this must be 90 degrees. So I've got some hypotenuses and a pair of legs that are congruent with my right triangles. So this is by hypotenuse leg. So if I started at T, that's between no tick marks and one tick mark. On this triangle, it's one tick mark and no tick marks, brings us to M. We went across one tick mark to I. We'll go across one tick mark to I, and then down to E. And then finally, we have this triangle over here. We know that this angle WOK is congruent to triangle KOR. I'm sorry, angle, not triangle. Angle WOK is congruent to angle KOR from these arcs that they drew. And so I've got a pair of angles. If that's 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. If I have two angles that are 90 degrees, those have to be congruent because if that's 90 degrees, that's 90 degrees. We have right angles. 90 is the same as 90, which makes them congruent. That's the right angle congruence theorem that says all right angles are congruent. Now, OK, using the reflexive property, is part of this triangle and this triangle, so they both share it. I'm going to make these, make sure it looks a little more. Now, if I look, I've got an angle, or I've got two sets of angles with a side in between. So this will be angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. We have an angle on either side and the side in between. Side in between. Now if I had KOW, I started at my right angle at K. I'll do that for my other triangle, which is also at K. Then we go up across the two tick marks for KO, this will also be KO, but instead of KOW, it'll be KOR.